just give it a bit to see if anybody wants to come on. We're telling your followers that you've started a live video. Please do.
You're missing us eating strawberries.
Yeah, all three of you guys need to be on. I don't care if I do this to nobody. Hello! Oh, Tani! All right.
Who's Tani?
She's my other girlfriend from India. She's a BTS babe. She's a BTS babe.
With the page.
The page, with the BTS meme page. Yeah, we like this.
I see you, girl.
All right. Sick.
Half of them.
Hello, everyone. To the two people here. I appreciate you. Do you know her? Do I know you? I don't care. To anyone here, we're going to get started regardless soon.
Yeah.
I don't know, this takes me a while.
Can you say hi back?
I think so. I think you can hit wave. You waved. Cute. What a day to be alive. Truly. What a day to be alive.
Literally.
Wow.
An actual day to be lived through.
Honestly.
Maybe we should.
All right. Give it another minute, maybe? Mom.
Oh, Ma!
Oh, Ma.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry. Tani, I know what you look like.
Hi,
You're prettier
Mama.
than both of us combined.
I waved at her.
Good.
I'm getting good at this.
Yes, you are.
Mm.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming on and listening to us talk about ourselves. Nothing sounds more selfish or narcissistic.
It's interesting, though, because as adults anyway, I don't think that there's really been a year where we've had our anniversary where we're together.
No.
I'm sure sometime in college.
I don't know if we've acknowledged it to that extent in college. It was another day.
In a place to do it.
No. I don't know if I've appreciated it as much then. I mean, I have always appreciated it, but, we've both gone through dark nights of the soul since then. That just makes you see this day differently, I think.
Definitely. Definitely.
Hi, everyone. All right, well, we'll just get started. Thank you all for joining. Today is the anniversary of my accident, our trauma. It has been 24 years today since Kylie and I were 5 and 7, and we had a little run-in with some dogs. Just a casual encounter, And I always talk about this. I'll never not talk about it. I laugh at it, I joke about it, I cry about it all the time. But what I don't do is often ask my sister about her point of view, and we're never together enough for us to do this. So I thought today would be really, really fun to get her point of view because honestly, I don't remember a lot. I remember things after, but the actual day of and everything. And your point of view is so different. Like, you saw me. You were there. You were the one who to get help for me. So it's just a completely different type of experience. And share our traumas. Yes, let's all trauma bond right now, all right? It's not always the healthiest thing.
It is an important thing to talk about. I mean,
it is, and I think that
in general, just for yourself.
Yes, and being comfortable talking about it is super important, and really wanted today to be about her telling her side of it, because I'll forever and always talk about my side of it. I remember, poor mom. See, to me, everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry. To me, I got the best end of the stick, even though I got the shortest end of the stick. I don't remember a lot. I didn't have to see what I looked like. Mom had to, deal with me calling the ambulance. Kylie had to process what it was like to see me and then watch me go through everything. So I just think that I just want you to share whatever you're willing to share. If you want to just start at the day, because we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, we'll maybe go through the story of what happened. But I think interesting is that I have my point of view, which even the parts that we do remember similarly are different. Like what you remember and what I remember
don't match up all the time.
And then I was telling this story to somebody else who was involved in this, and I was recounting what I remembered, and they were like, that's not what happened.
I hate when that happens.
So what I'm recounting might actually not be what really, really happened. It's what I remember though, and I think likewise for you, the pieces that you don't remember are really probably important up until a certain point anyway for you to not remember. I think that protection was probably important. So anyway, so basically what happened, I was actually about a week shy of my 7th birthday, and Becca was 5. So while we're telling this story, if you can just picture a 5-year-old that you know in your life, it's going to help put some perspective to this. So for us this morning, we were like, 5-year-old? Like, we're thinking of 5-year-olds that we know, and we're like, that is...
You're a very tiny human.
A small little human, yeah.
Tiny, tiny human.
And Becca, although I was almost 2 years older than her, she and I were really... I was very small. And
little munchkin.
And Becca was...
Winnie the Pooh.
I started saying it and realized there wasn't a nice... you were just...
No, but I was a husky girl for my age and height.
You were just not a frail little 5-year-old.
I was husky.
People have often said to me, if this happened the other way around, and I was the one that was really, really hurt, I probably wouldn't have survived because there just wasn't enough to think of a normal 5-year-old. You were meaty.
I was meaty.
So anyway, all right. We both danced, and it was picture day, which was a very big deal for picture day at the studio. And both of our parents were working. Our dad was a teacher at the time. And so we had a friend who was curling our hair, and they had these 2 Rottweiler dogs. So 2 Rottweilers.
Shall we?
Which, yes.
First of all, look at this cute little before picture. Just so we know, this was a couple of days before, but for perspective purposes.
So 2 Rottweiler
These
dogs.
2 5-year-olds are giants, just so we're aware, okay?
Right.
And we didn't have pet dogs, so even just being around them, we don't really know what to do.
And it's interesting because we've been around them before, and they had not caused us any reason to feel nervous, or like there was nothing kind of spectacular about the day.
Right.
But we were outside playing on the swing set. This is what I remember. Was it the tire swing?
Yeah, and it was a horizontal one, with the
like
3
it sat
chains.
into it. Right. And I remember they came kind of like around the corner. So just to picture, the property that we were on was enormous. There was like a big, huge grassy area, beautiful kind of like draping hill.
It's Pennsylvania, just so you know.
And the swing set was kind of up here by the house, and the dogs sort of came around the corner. And for whatever reason, they scared me. I don't even think the way that you were sitting, you could see them.
Yeah. I don't know.
And so I said to run. I said, run, Becca. So we both ran sort of like, this is the house and this is the area where we're playing, sort of this way down over the hill into this kind of like grassy abyss. And my memory of it is that one dog was chasing each one of us. And then for whatever reason, and I think it was that...
They weren't vicious, though. I think they thought we were trying to play with them.
Yeah. I was just reading that. Yeah.
I don't remember, but I can't... I mean, they weren't very aggressive. There was no reason for them to just come at us aggressively.
No, the reason they chased us was because I told us to run.
We ran.
And that's exactly what happened. And so anyway, Becca started screaming, like yelling, and I think, from what I remember, that's when both dogs sort of started chasing Becca. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, this is the strangest part of the whole day to me, I ran into the house.
Where were the owners?
Without really... they were inside. So they were home. There was nothing abnormal about the situation. Like, it was perfectly... We were in their space.
Yeah.
Which was not an unheard of. It wasn't like the first time we've been there.
Nope, and they've been around, like the dogs were around other dancers because the dance studio is very close, and I mean, they weren't unfamiliar with children anyways.
No, yeah. So anyway, I ran into the house thinking, like, I need to find my teacher. That's whose house we were at. I need to find my teacher. I need to tell her that the dogs are chasing Becca, although I had no idea, of course, what was actually happening. And I can't remember why I had this like nudge to run into the house and get help. I had no reason really to understand exactly what was unfolding outside. And so I remember this so specifically. I get into the house, and the house is huge, especially to a 7-year-old. And I couldn't remember where she was. I couldn't remember where her room was.
It's a labyrinth.
It was. It's
and there's like at least 3 different ways to get downstairs and upstairs.
All I remember is that her daughter was home, but her daughter was sick. And her daughter was like an older girl. She was like the big kid to us at the time. And I remember that she was sick, and I thought, I can't go up and get her because she's sick and she'll be mad at me. And I can't yell for somebody because, and this is how I thought of it in my 7-year-old brain, if I yell, my voice will cause something in this house to break. That's what I remember thinking.
Oh, poor guy.
I know. I couldn't find anybody. I didn't know. So I remember standing in the hallway of the house, and my teacher came out from her bedroom. She had just taken a shower, and then she was going to do our hair. She came out, she had a white towel wrapped around her and a white towel wrapped around her head, and she just looked at me and for whatever reason said, "What's wrong?" And I remember, now remind you, I'm in a hallway in the middle of a house, there are no windows, and I remember, like, if I'm talking to her, looking this way and picturing like a big round window and watching Becca run down over like the last hill and the dogs like right on her tail, sort of like the moment that I imagine it being right before they really attacked. Although I can't picture where in the house this would actually be. No circular window exists. If I'm in the hallway, we're in the middle of the house. Right, but not outside her bedroom.
Well, her bedroom's right down the hall.
Well, for whatever it is, this is what I remember, and I remember being back in the house and being like, where was I? Something doesn't match. And so I said to her, the dogs are chasing Becca. And I don't remember anything after that. I remember she ran outside in her towel, and I don't remember how I got back downstairs. The next thing that I remember is that she was carrying you in her arms. So imagine like carrying a sleeping child, but she wasn't asleep. No. Like this. And we had matching dresses on.
Yeah.
I think mine was purple.
No, mine was purple.
Mine was
pink.
Really?
Mom, help.
I think mine was purple and yours was pink. And
Mom wouldn't have put me in pink.
I think it was before I had a pink phase. And we had matching little like those
jellies?
Cute little, no, they were like sandals, like almost fake Birkenstock sandals. And I remember when she brought you in, thinking 2 things. Oh no, our dresses are ruined. Right? Right, because she was just covered, completely naked, covered head to toe in blood. And I remember being, as a 7-year-old.
Blue. So we were both wrong.
I think it's purple. I think she's wrong.
Either way.
Anyway, I think I remember being upset about our matching outfits having been destroyed. And then I remember watching my teacher put you down on her white carpet, thinking, she's going to ruin that carpet. She's going to ruin the carpet.
Damn it.
And then the next thing that I remember is that she went over to I can watch her walking over to the phone to call 911, and I don't remember what she said. Still in towels, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember looking at you on the floor, right? So you're like laying totally naked, covered in blood, looking at her on the floor, and I watched her eyes kind of like flutter open, and I remember thinking, she's going to be really scared if she sees herself like this. So I remember saying, don't worry, Becca, just go back to sleep. It'll be okay. And she went into a coma at that point.
I did?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I was in a coma?
Yeah, you? Mom?
I don't think I went into a coma because I remember the life flight.
True.
I think I just passed out for a bit. Because my mom said I used to try to sit up, because I said, I have to go get ready for my pictures. I have a headache. That's it. I have a headache, but I have to get ready for my pictures.
So I was recounting this this memory to my teacher, and she looked at me and she was like, honey, no. That's not what happened. You were screaming at the top of your lungs and running around in circles. Like, we had to calm you down. That's not what happened. And I was like, that isn't what happened. That's not what I remember. So it's interesting, kind of over the years as we, started talking about it, and as adults being able to remember what happened, and hear other people's. So there are people too who I didn't even know as a child, who would be like, no, I was around that day. I remember sort of driving by and wondering why the dogs were running, and thinking to themselves after looking back, like, oh my God, I should have stopped, which of course you'd never know. So
Graham was screaming and running in circles. Okay.
Is that what she said? So I want to just, because I didn't have this experience, of course, but while this was happening, so basically what happened is that the dogs, 2 of these Rottweiler dogs, attacked Becca, and if you can picture watching any dog, even a small one, sort of like play with a toy, how they kind of just like, they don't really stop until it's completely destroyed. It's very similar.
It was me, I was a squeaky toy.
She was, and when she stopped squeaking,
and they dragged me down like a hill. I was out of sight. They no one could run out of the house into the yard and see me.
You couldn't
had to
see
find
her.
me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so, essentially, can I go through this?
Yeah.
So from her scalp, so if you can imagine, like, from her scalp back was just totally torn off.
Peeled.
Her right ear was bitten off.
Chilling.
This had, like, if you can imagine, a tooth or a nail from one of them, sort of had like a whole slit right across here. Yeah. Oh, 2 on each side?
I have 2 on each side.
And so these like carotid arteries were intact but exposed. This was the real life-threatening piece, aside from the amount of blood that was lost, of course. And then like kind of really big gashes on the inside of her thighs. Her left arm, the way that it had been drugged, I think pinched a nerve or damaged something, so that she was told she would never be able to lift her arm sort of above it. I remember you doing.
I thought that was from my lat muscle removal, though.
I don't think so. I could be remembering.
Mom, help! Ma'am.
But anyway, so this is kind of what was happening while I was trying to find my teacher in the house. So you can imagine.
Dare we show? Looking
back, thinking like, oh, I was afraid that something in the house would break, so that's why I didn't yell to find help faster, and meanwhile this is what was happening. Or the idea that like they never would have done anything had I not told her to run. And
it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
But you can see how that would be something that would be really difficult to sort of
come to terms with.
And believe that it isn't your fault. Which I think I've done some decent work on.
Yeah, I remember coming into your room in our teenage years or something and like begging you not to feel bad or feel responsible or to blame yourself. Because if it wasn't for her, if she had gotten hurt too, nobody would have found us in time. Nobody would have been aware. I mean, and this happens in the span of somebody taking a shower. Let's keep this in mind. Like, she was taking a shower, a reasonable shower.
Yeah, it was nothing like neglectful or like something that we had done many times in the past. Been at her house to play, like many times. It was nothing out of the ordinary. So anyway, okay, so all of this was happening. And then before our teacher got there, and found her, you had this sort of vision or...
Yeah, I saw Amy, I think, ask. I thought, when all I can really remember, I don't remember any pain, I don't remember anything, but laying down and seeing the bright blue sky and our teacher above me, and in this flowing dress, her hair flowing all around her, and just very calmly looking at me and saying, "You're gonna be fine. don't you worry about it. I'm going to take care of you. Just like really encouraging, soothing words. And I told my mom that, and she's like, nope, not at all. She was hysterical, and she was in a towel. Either a red or a white dress, but it was a beautiful thing. But my mom was like, did not happen. So
no, because she was with me trying to understand what was happening.
Yeah, the dogs were running and excited after chasing the UPS truck. So they were already hyped, I guess. Okay, cool. Yeah, so my mom told me that once that didn't happen and our teacher was naked and in a towel and everything, my mom said it was my guardian angel, and that was probably when I started believing in magic without realizing it.
Yeah,
and angels and...
Yeah. So that...
What happened when I was life flighted? What happened with you?
So I remember most of this, all of this, I only remember from stories of people telling me. I don't actually, after my memory of telling Becca to, don't worry, go to sleep, the next thing I remember is being in my teacher's bedroom while she was putting mascara on at the same time that she was crying because she was going to go to the hospital, and everybody around her telling her, don't go to the hospital, like, that's not important, you don't have to do that, just stay here. And I remember thinking, why is she putting makeup on?
As an adult, I get it now.
Yeah. That's the next thing that I remember. So what we've been told anyway happened after that is that Life Flight came to pick you up. This is Life Flight from Geisinger, for anybody who's from Pennsylvania.
45 minutes away from where we were at.
A 45-minute drive, right?
Yeah, drive.
So they came and they wouldn't land until the dogs had been...
corralled.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Mom said she went to dance and had her picture taken. We tried to keep things as normal as possible for me. And now our younger sister, who is 3...
little baby Riz, who is with us today during this live. She left her little apophyllite crystal here. She's in South Korea right now, but apophyllite is also a stone for childhood healing and traumas and stuff, so we've got a double whammy here. Sorry.
I don't remember that at all, Mom. Not at all. I had my picture. In fact, I have to say, there's a lot that I don't remember about my childhood in general.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it.
And I think because some of it needed to be packed away somewhere where it couldn't be painful, and so kind of even good things sort of got packaged in with that.
It's 222.
So the dogs ended up getting put down.
They had to. I think once they eat human flesh, like, you're not supposed to, like, keep them around.
I think, yeah, they which was sad for the family.
Yeah, in a way I felt bad because the dogs were their children's. They were their companions, or at least the sons or something, and it's like...
Yeah, it was a sad...
I took a pet away. I can't imagine someone taking my pet away, so it hurt everyone.
You didn't take a pet away. Anyway, so the dogs were ultimately put down. Life Flight landed. This is the funny story in the you should tell.
Okay, yeah, Life Flight. Just for the record, I do remember this vividly. Oh, they had to be tested for rabies. Oh. I remember staring up at this blonde, and I believe...
This is in the helicopter.
Or, yes.
Post-attack.
Yeah, I remember this much.
Missing 4 out of the 5 liters of blood in a child.
Oh, yeah, I lost a lot. Yeah.
Then basically saying... Parents, like, we'll take her, but she's not going to make it. So just prepare yourselves, okay? Okay, we're at that point now.
Yeah, so our parents are getting warned, like, brace yourselves. I'm chilling, and I see this blonde, and they're like, okay, we got to go. And I said, well, what about my mommy? And they're like, honey, she can't come with us. There's a weight limit. And I was like, I started crying, and I was like, my mommy's not fat. She can come with us. Didn't understand that there's like a literal weight limit to a helicopter. I thought they were being mean to my mom. And I was like, my mom can come with me. I don't understand. And then I don't remember anything else.
That's even as a 5-year-old.
Honestly, on the brink of death. And I'm like, bitch, why is my mom not with me? I remember Dad would tell me to squeeze his thumb instead of getting me to talk. He said, just keep squeezing my thumb to like...
Boo. He called you Boo.
Boo, I was Boo. And Mom kept ripping off my blood pressure cuff because they would put it on my left arm, which was the most damaged, and the side my carotid was sticking out of. And every time they would pump to get my pressure, it was spurting out of my neck, and Mom was like, can we not do this right now? And they're like, ma'am, if you keep this up, we're going to have to remove you.
Did not know
Oh, that's one of my favorite stories of Mom's.
Was she in the helicopter ultimately?
No.
So then
I went alone.
she gets to the hospital, makes it through surgery, no
14
infection.
hours.
14 hours. Stitched her up, stapled everything. And then that was the first.
I'm a new penny. I came out a little tarnished, but a brand new penny.
That was the first of what I think ended up being 38.
38, 39, somewhere around there.
38 reconstructive surgeries. 38 between 5 years old and 6th grade. Was that your last?
That was my last one, but most of them were between like 5 and 7, 8 years old. And then I had one more skin expanding surgery in the 6th grade.
So so this is what some of those surgeries ended up being.
It was stuff glopping. Is that a word? Glopping? Mom says no, it was stuff glopping out of your cuts all over your arms. Oh. I have one scar on my arm, just for the record.
And actually, show them your neck. There's no scar. This was the most threatening, and there's...
Let me give you a gory reference.
Well,
these are going to be...
mind yourselves if you're a
truly.
Bit.
But my neck was like this, okay? They were open. I could have taken it out of the plastic, but... So that was that. And look, you can't even see, there's no evidence that my neck was ever messed with whatsoever.
Can I show this one?
Yeah.
This is and mind this also. This is very
graphic photos, guys. Brace yourselves.
But these were two of the photos of her head. If you can see kind of how it was just simply peeled off,
chunky.
And so actually this was kind of the biggest part of why all of these surgeries had to take place, right? Because that had to be fixed. And so they ended up doing can I find a skin graft picture?
Yeah, before that, though, they were trying to save the skin. So I was going into hyperbaric chambers to, which is
the
what
submarine.
Which I needed to be, bribed to get into. I hated it. And they thought that was going to work and, restore the health of my skin, but it ended up dying anyways. So they had to skin graft from my butt, which when you're 5, that's the biggest surface area to grab from. That could also be... Yeah. I'm cute here, okay?
She is
I'm
cute
so
here.
freaking cute.
Look at this little tush!
I know.
So this is what ended up getting... This skin was grafted and ultimately put on her head with a piece of her lat muscle.
That got thrown out.
That got thrown out?
Yeah, the lat muscle... They took my left lat muscle at some point within here. Mom, correct me if I'm wrong. But it was too... It wasn't permanent. I believe they had to throw that out. But anyways, I will only ever accept the insult of a butt head. Because that's truly what I am now.
And then if you can picture, if you cut yourself and it starts to heal and scabs over, it's kind of itchy. So imagine your entire butt surface area feeling that way. And this is kind of what that looked like.
It itched so bad.
I remember you being home, actually at daycare specifically. She would scratch right through her pants and just bleed.
They would tape socks over me because
hospital socks.
I would just itch. It would just mildly itch, and then once you start, you don't stop. You pick that entire scab off, and it was
We all know
not
that's
cute.
what happened. And then this is ultimately kind of how things started to heal. So you can see how that skin graft really took. And also a little bit about what this ends up meaning in an everyday life of a 5-year-old little girl so this happened in May. Started kindergarten that next fall.
I was in kindergarten. And I wore hats and I had bandages and I remember the whispers when I was in line. I remember... kids weren't as cruel as I think they are today, but I remember...
They were curious. They were yes. Any innocent child would ask about anything that they didn't understand.
And Mom said that at one point someone asked me, a stranger little kid, and I turned around and I was like, it's none of your business.
Oh.
And I remember reflecting on that a couple of years ago, and I'm like, where did that sass go? Because at some point that left, and I became very insecure and very self-conscious, and no longer felt the need to be like, it's none of your business. I was affected in a different way, but we all go through that.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly how most people grow up, right? You're kind of like this innocent, unaware state as a child, and then you get into middle school and you start becoming aware of these things and you feel self-conscious, and that's normal across the board. But on top of having such obvious and stark differences, even with stuff that's like as simple as just not having hair, like she just didn't have, this is what she used to wear when she was little, these hats
with ponytails.
She had like a whole bucket of hats with all these ponytails, which ultimately, like, as a child, people and kids thought were like pretty cool, but that stops after a certain point, right?
You can't be 15 wearing a hat with a fake hairpiece anymore.
I'm not sure.
You're going the wrong way. Before I had enough hair of my own and I was still in bandages, I would make them give me a bandage that was long enough that I could put scrunchies in it.
I love that.
So I felt like I could have hair. I was like, I need enough to put at least 3 scrunchies in, and that matched my really adorable floral dress. And if it wasn't scrunchies, then we had ribbons. Again, excellent outfit.
Excellent
Are you kidding
outfit.
me? Yeah, look at that. See, I've got hair. That's a bang.
That's
I'm pretty
a
sure.
bang.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, what was it like for you though when I know you came to physical therapy with me a lot.
So I don't have a ton of memories of the hospital. I remember celebrating my birthday there, not the year that this happened, because that would have been
way too soon.
8 days later. But the following year, when I turned 8, I remember specifically I had a blue and white angel print dress on.
You sure did.
It was a spins around dress, we called it, which means that if you twirl around and then sit down really quickly, it makes that like big poof, the epitome of like a child's dress. And it had a matching headband with like 2 little.
That.
I was on it. Do you still have that dress, Mom? That was a great little dress. Anyway, I do. I remember celebrating my birthday there that year. I remember going to physical therapy with you.
I hated
because
it.
You hated it. And they had what we called a marshmallow ball, because it was just a Pilates ball.
Oh yeah, it was an exercise ball.
Nothing special about it, but the rubber of it smelled like marshmallows.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we played on that playground outside of the hospital. Remember that?
Yeah, and the physical therapy was for my left arm, where they took my muscle, because I do recall that they said, that you have pics of the party on the hospital deck.
Yes,
I do. I do have photos of that. But when they remove your left lat muscle, that's the biggest muscle in your back, correct? Correct. Either way, it's big. It plays a huge part. And when that's gone, you lose a lot of your function, and they didn't think I'd be able to go up like this. So the physical therapy was for me to like get used to stretching my arm and rotating and everything. And I'm Gucci now. I can't do, a pull up, but who wants to?
I think you could if you really tried.
I don't want to try.
Personally, I think you could. But anyway, yeah, I don't remember a lot there. I do remember being really defensive of you. At the pool, specifically, I remember, because
bathing suits were my worst nightmare.
Oh, this was your head in the pool, because you still had to have a hat on, or you couldn't get your head wet or something.
I couldn't burn it because my skin graft couldn't get burned. So Mom was like rubbing suntan lotion onto my head, making sure I wore a hat, and I was nervous and self-conscious about bathing suits because you could see my skin graft, and at the time it was angry looking, it was dark, it was purple, it was so noticeable.
It was.
And I didn't like the attention that it drew, because it just brought to mind like why it's even there.
I remember being really sassy, and I was very quiet as a child, very like follow every rule, be nice to all the people, don't say anything. But when people said something like that to her, I remember even feeling like very defensive.
Yes.
Like, don't talk to her. That is not your business. She's fine. Which...
Yeah. I remember standing in the lunch line in elementary school, and I think there was maybe one person between me and the girl that was talking about me blatantly. Like, there was no way you didn't know I was there.
What was that little girl's name?
I think her name was Kirsten. or Kristen, something like that. And I don't remember exactly what she was saying, but it made me stand there silently sobbing. Just
Jessica.
hurt my...
There was a Jessica. She was a vicious little girl.
And, you know, they saw special treatment. That is what they saw. Oh, she doesn't have to go to gym. Oh, she gets to wear a hat in school. Oh, she can be excused. And it just broke my heart. I'm like, you don't get it. And I didn't even understand at the time that it was like, you don't get it. I just heard the words and it hurt. Do you remember driving back and forth to PT every day and the songs we would sing? Yeah, Dad blasted like 80s, 70s music that I would jam out to. Uh-huh.
That was for all of
Hooked
you.
on a Feeling was a good one.
I remember
Shania Twain because she was an empowering bitch, okay?
We listened to a lot of Shania.
Yeah, watch it, you're gonna shake that.
And a lot of, what was that CD that we had with the rollerblade on it? 70s. Jessica Christmas.
Just mind your business.
Oh, man. I remember the moment when I realized that things were, like, really different for you. I don't know if you remember this. We were in middle school, and we were 2 grades apart, so we had 2 years where we would be at the same school. Maybe we were in high school. I can't remember. Ukachaka, yes. And I remember, I don't even know what happened, but you got so mad at me. You were so angry at me.
I was a very angry child.
You were so upset with me for something that I had done that I didn't, you know, it was just like a normal thing. And I remember saying, "What, are you jealous?" And you just like, you just started bawling. Darcy!
Hi!
You just started bawling your eyes out.
I don't
and
remember
you said,
this.
Yes. And I was like, oh. It was like a whole new level of understanding that, I mean, it was just my norm. It was our whole family's norm. We had not known anything else. And so I just, you know, you're blind to it when you're that close. So I didn't, I'll never forget that in my life. I will never.
I don't remember it, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I hugged you until you stopped crying, and you didn't want me to, but I made you hug me back.
I was mad, and I don't remember being angry. I mean, I remember having tantrums, like outbursts, but I
ran away from home a lot.
I don't remember that, and I talked to my mom about it, and she said it was the only thing I could control. Everybody else was telling me what to do, where to go, what to take, how to live. I couldn't control anything. I couldn't dance. I couldn't go to gym. I couldn't go swimming. I couldn't do any of it without, Becca, watch your head. Becca, watch your head. Becca, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Right.
And being angry was the only outlet I had. And
yeah, and nothing to blame, and nobody to blame. Yeah. Yeah, you were an angry little thing. Now, not like cruel and mean.
no,
but just like
sensitive, very, very, and I was
very
already a sensitive child. So if I was frustrated, it was a big deal. If my feelings were hurt, everyone knew about it. Like, I was just mad.
And I want to say, I think you would agree that really continued into adulthood for you until you really, really took specific time to work through all of that in the way that you needed to.
Yeah, it's just...
Which is the most understandable thing.
Yeah.
I would say.
I felt, you know, as older, I was like justified by my pain, but it's like you can't continue to just be like, I was hurt, so I can be mean. No, I mean, maybe when it warrants it, but you can't just be mean to anyone and everyone. And I never blamed anyone. I never blamed the owners of the dogs. I never blamed Kylie. There was nothing. If anything, I've never felt, and even if I didn't understand it, I've always felt grateful that it was me, that it happened. If it were to happen, because I even knew that. I was like, there's nothing you can do. It is what it is. It has happened. I am grateful to be here. I am grateful that it wasn't Kylie. I am grateful.
We were that way as a family in general. Yeah. Our whole family was like, okay, this is what we're going to do now, and let's do it.
Our aunt is down here with us as well, and we were talking to her about it earlier, and even she said, normally when something this traumatic happens, the family will get divorced or like not be the same, but if anything, ours just got closer and stronger. And I mean, we're an oddly close family. We're very weird.
It's the best.
It is the absolute best. Dad was the best. Mom was the best. Mom would go out at 2 a.m. looking for green Jello and green Jello only. Okay, only the red was not good. It was
actually this part. I don't remember any of this either. Our older sister Yvonne, she is 9 years older than me, and so she was in a place where she could be really helpful when it came to helping actually take care of me and Rissy while you were in the hospital, sort of those initial few months.
What'd you do when I was in the hospital?
I have no idea. I'm telling you, until just last year when she told me all of this, I had no idea that she had spent like several nights and over like months of time, probably weeks of days and nights taking care of us, making sure we got to dance, making sure, all of the things that need to happen when you have two small kids. I mean, a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, that's a lot.
And the poor 3-year-old,
actually, she wasn't even quite 3.
No, she would have been turning 3.
2 in it, yeah.
But thinking about breast breaks, it hurts me the most. Stop. Okay, can you? I think about Marissa because she was 3 and at least Kylie and she got 7 years and I got 5 years of what it was truly like to be a kid without having to think or second guess actions and everything. And Marissa did it. Not that she was personally affected. She could do everything she wanted to do, but like, I just think like it wasn't normal. She couldn't just play around with us. Kylie and I got to horse around, like you do when you're kids. And she was constantly growing up with be careful, be gentle, and it's a weird thing to feel bad about, but I felt like I robbed her of a childhood, and you too. It's one thing if mine was robbed, that's fine. But to think that it wasn't just me that was affected, it was everybody.
Marissa has a really interesting experience because she wasn't a part of it. Like, she wasn't there at the house when this happened, and she wasn't old enough. I mean, she was 2, she was turning 3 in July, so she didn't have the wherewithal to be able to remember anything, even if she was there.
Yeah, she was cute.
She was cute. Annoyingly cute, which is still the case.
She was cute,
but she really, so for her, she grew up with this, like, norm. And it wasn't until she got much, much older, like in college, really, where she was like, wait, that was a weird, unique thing that wasn't actually everybody's experience. And I don't really have a way to process it because I have no experience with it. It's actually just what my life was. It would be like, what would it be like?
I don't know. It's just, so being abnormal is our family's normal.
And I know, like, every family has their version of that thing. But it was really, for her and for our older sister, it was really 2 very specific experiences on their own. Because they were very detached and also
100%
obviously, like, super ingrained in it as well. Like, that is the only thing that both of them knew is growing up in this family that had this thing, but it wasn't really a thing to us, was it? It's like while it's happening, it's just what's happening.
Yeah, I think we very quickly got to a point where you just adjust. And you're like, this is what it is, this is normal. It just is.
Go to dance and get your picture taken.
Yeah, and our parents were really, really great with keeping things as normal as possible. For them, when I was in the hospital and even after, there was 0 special treatment unless it was directly related to a surgery or my head. But I got mad, but I got grounded for it. I got snitted in the mouth for it. I got sent to my room for it. I was punished like they would have been punished. But I mean,
yeah, I don't ever remember feeling like, how come Becca doesn't have to?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
No, Mom and Dad kept us very, very normal as it can. They normalized our abnormal that I didn't realize anything different, really.
I think the whole experience then, and this is our version of this thing.
Yeah.
I know everybody's family's got their each, I mean, I'm sure as I'm saying this, you can pick out your own, oh yeah, well my version of that is this thing. But this was the thing that I think, for me, there was a lot that couldn't be controlled. There was a lot that was going on around me where it was just like, you don't question it. You just follow what somebody's telling you to do because you don't really know what else to do. Which is common enough for kids, but I think I really stayed in that for a much longer period of time, and kind of developed into this like codependent thing, which I know many people struggle with, but I think this really sort of like this need to, I think it was really this like, I didn't save her. You know, I couldn't.
Yes, you did.
I could, you know, for so long you've had this like, I told her to run, right? And so this is what happened. True or not, whatever, the reality is different from the feeling, which is often the case with things. And so the feeling of growing up with that, and having that sort of translate into, well, that was my thing that I did, and
that was your part to play.
Couldn't save her. And so I think it kind of hardened into this, you know, even without realizing it, certainly without realizing it, into this, you have to save people sort of mentality, save people, right? Like,
to not want to repeat that feeling for you. To
just, I don't know. And I just, over the last few years, sort of pieced this stuff together. And it's been hard because I'm sure there are many people who might see this who can relate to feeling like they find themselves in the similar situations over and over and over again, where you're with people who like, or around people who need something, they need help, or they need support, or you know that you can bring this certain thing to them, and so you feel needed and like you are doing a certain duty, even though you have no business trying to do that thing for anybody. It's like those things that only a person can do for themselves. And so once I realized that this was this theme that was happening over and over again, and could kind of piece together where some of this stemmed from, I had the ability to kind of move through it with a touch more grace.
Yeah.
It also stems from like serious obsessive compulsive behavior, like really debilitating, very interfering with life OCD.
Yeah.
That I really was resistant to letting go of, because it was...
That was your way of controlling your situation and your feelings and everything.
Yep.
Mine was anger, and hers was OCD bossiness.
Bossy. Oh.
So bossy. And I know as an older sibling, like you're just born bossy, but it was extreme at some points and times.
Yeah. And so until it was like okay to let go of that thing that I felt really defined by, it was really disruptive. Like really, a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Really, really, really bad. But I think like, and it's interesting, in an effort to keep things normal, we did not talk about this as a family.
But like, we did not talk about it.
No, we didn't like, we weren't avoiding it. It just was sort of...
It wasn't until later when I asked, I think I didn't want to bring up bad memories for Mom and Dad. I know whenever I would like ask Dad in the past, he got mad. Dad just gets so angry about
Dad
it.
feels happy or
angry.
pissed. And any feeling that falls in between that gets expressed as pissed.
Yeah, so he just gets so
Which
angry.
Is reasonable.
And poor Mom, I mean, she had to... I mean, they were both excellent caretakers, but your mother is like your mother. And I was like, do I want to dredge this up and have her recount such terrible, traumatic things? I'm lucky not to be alive, but to not remember it.
I also think, ironically, as these things go, the healing part of it has been talking about it. Which actually really only started when Marissa got old enough to realize that she didn't have the full story and didn't understand and wanted to know the details so that she could start to process it a little bit better. And I mean, I think after a certain point, it's really just sort of unavoidable. Yeah. It is good that you can't remember things, but I do think that some of that coming back up for you would give you something to move through.
Yeah.
And with time and space and the fact that you are healthy and totally functioning, like an asset to the society.
Like the only thing today that reminds me is wearing a hairpiece that you have to get done.
Well, yeah, let's talk about your hair.
My skin graft is fine and healed. It's still an insecurity of mine, but my hair, it will still make me cry to this day if I think about it because I get frustrated.
It makes Marissa and I cry too, actually.
Look at this. Look at this long, luscious mane of horse. Like, it smells so good.
It's your shampoo.
I don't get it. And I have my own hair. I have the ability to grow my own hair. But because of all the skin expansion that we did, the skin, it's not thick. It's very thin. It's spaced apart. So it's
there's still a section about maybe like
this much,
right?
that is still a skin graft that grows no hair. There's no nerve. It
right
sounds
in the middle
like this.
Of her head.
That's what my head sounds like.
And if you picture where the thickness of your hair comes from, it comes right in the middle, right in the middle of your head.
Yep.
And that's the part where they couldn't stretch what little hair didn't get torn off.
The scalp would break. It would start to just split. You know, you can only stretch your skin so far. So my hairpiece is my day-to-day reminder that this has happened. It's not the scars. It's a vein thing like your hair, and yet it's something that's really important that I feel comfortable having. I get really mad if my hairpiece is like getting old and I don't have a new one yet because I'm already mad in a way that I even have to wear one. If I'm angry about that, it's just like, I don't want to deal with this every day. But I accept it and I'm fine with it, you know. It's on a bad day where I get mad about it.
And sometimes you're not. And that's totally okay. Sometimes you're not okay with
it's extra work that I'm willing to put into it, but it's extra work that on days I wish I didn't have to do.
Think about going to the beach,
I haven't been swimming in 20 years.
Not that you couldn't.
No, but when you have a hairpiece, it damages it more. It pulls on your own hair more, and it's just not worth the trouble of swimming. So you sacrifice jumping in the waves. You sacrifice jumping off cliffs with your friend. That sounds scary, but you know when you go and you jump off things.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
You sacrifice swimming in general. Like there are certain things you don't do, and they're all sacrifices I'm fine with making until it gets to you, and you're just like, I don't want to. What would I be like? What would I look like with my own hair? Would it be this color? Would it have bangs? Would it be thick? Would it be curly? I don't know. And I will never get to know. But if that's all I have to live with, if that's all that makes me sad, fine. Because I could have had a loss of limb. I could have had a handy.
Oh, your ear.
My ear could have not been. My neck couldn't have healed right. My face. My whole face could have been.
Yeah, not a thing on her face. All of that happened. Not a scratch on her little face.
Yeah.
Your little cherub face. Your face.
I was so chubby. It was so cute.
Oh, it was so cute.
It was cute. It was. Well, we've got only a few minutes left.
That was our story.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
One more question. How do you live with it today? Do you think about it?
Yeah, I think so. Like with anything, there are certain days where I can tell the story and just tell it just like this, and it's no big deal. And there are certain days where like it really, really, really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most interesting part is that yes, I know logistically it wasn't my fault, and spiritually I can see like this was something that we as a family and as individuals needed to go through this cycle around. Like that's just plain to see for me at this point. And so there's some comfort to be found in that. But there is a twinge of that like, God damn it, why did I tell her to run? You know, that is probably going to be a lingering thing.
That's good. That takes longer to work through. You can accept it, but it can still bother you, you know?
I think mostly when I can see your frustrations and see how painful things can be, just like with, and I know we're talking about hair and it sounds so stupid, but we all know what that translates to. Self-worth, feeling not good enough, and we're living in a world now where like we do this thing, right? Where you can see everybody all the time. And so that stuff, it just hits you and it settles in you in a different way. Yeah. And so it matters. It's more than just what your hair is. It's what that ends up equaling and feeling like on a different level. And those are the times where I'm like, this is not something that somebody should have to take on for their whole life. Because, right, this is from 5 years old. She's essentially never known normalcy in that area ever. Like, up until 5 years old, you'd be lucky if you let your mother comb your hair, let alone care what it looks like. And there is a sense of guilt. I mean, Marissa and Teta and I both, all three of us have like real long, thick hair, and it is the contrast of it is painful. It is painful.
The only good thing, especially during quarantine, is that hair pieces have no growth, so my bangs don't ever have to grow out. I don't have to worry about any dye jobs, and it's just perfect in that regard.
We'll let her have this one.
Let me have this moment, okay?
We'll let her have this one.
Everyone's roots are out to here, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. But
anyway, that was the story. Today is our anniversary, 24 years ago.
24 years.
24 years ago.
And I'm 29, and you're turning 31 in 8 days, and this is essentially, it has in a way defined our lives, but also it has not consumed our lives.
Well said.
We don't let it run our lives. We just try our best to live alongside of it. There's no fighting it, and there's no denying it, and there's no making it better. It is as good as it's gonna get, you know?
Which is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's great. But I'm happy that you get to be here.
Me too. This was great. I never get to be with you on our day.
I feel in a way that your part gets more overlooked than I feel comfortable with. You're vital to it.
We've two different stories get told, you know. Your soul chose to experience this and take a major chunk of karma off your face. I don't know who that is, but that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. Yep. And it's so funny. Anybody who knows any of us and our family, you would...
2 minutes remaining.
It is the only person who could have done it and survived it is Becca. Like that...
I don't have a lot of self-confidence, but I will confidently always say that.
That it's 100%. Absolutely...
To this day.
Completely accurately true.
Yeah. Dad is the one calling me saying, can you please come home? Your mother is useless to me and I need things to be moved around.
Not to say that I'm not strong. I just want to make a plug for that, okay?
But that's Dad and I's thing. That is our thing. So we're running out of time. I just want to thank everyone for joining and for listening. I know it was emotional and a little dark,
but very cathartic for us. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting us have a therapy session. And it's also, it just is. It is part of our lives and our world, and to ignore it and to act like it doesn't exist and to not talk about it, I think does it a disservice, because her and I are both, who we are today is due to 90% of that moment. You see, that day changed how we viewed the world drastically, and it was important.
It's also been like, you know, it's our thing. And it wasn't always a good place. Like, we had a lot to work through under many layers. But
it made the normal things that sisters and things you go through growing up, like, just times 100.
Times 100.
Times 100. Yeah. So
both good and bad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, good and bad. But we are in a much lighter and better place with it now, and being able to joke about it. I think when we do joke about it, it's good. It's healing. You should be able to find a way to view it in that way at some point. So
thank you so much
we
for
got
being here with
10
us.
seconds left, so thank you for being here. We're going to go act like this, going to go plant a tree.
We are going to plant a tree.
We're going to go plant a tree.
Thank
So I
you
hope
so
you all
much.
have a better Sunday. Bye, guys.